Hello and welcome back to English Sound Building, an advanced pronunciation podcast where you do the work to build muscle memory, and master new sounds. Always remember that successful communication is possible in any one of the thousands of global English accents. This podcast is for those of you who enjoy playing with sound. We're here to have fun. If you find it useful to read as you listen, you can now find a free script for this podcast on my Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/EnglishBrickByBrick. The link's in the episode notes, as well as a free video bonus for most episodes. This is the last full episode of the first season of English Sound Building. Thank you so much for listening along so far, and to those of you who've got in touch to let me know it's helping. Today, we're going to review some of the key words from the 9 previous episodes. As the podcasts so far have tended to focus on a straightforward listen and repeat pattern, we're going to talk about some different ways you can do those repetitions to vary your practice, make your practice more fun and effective. When working on sounds, it's really important to review everything regularly to help keep up the skills you've gained and keep strengthening muscles and movement patterns. I hope you'll find them easier than you did first time around, or at least notice that you're thinking about the sounds differently now. Let's recap the sounds we've looked at. We've looked at the vowel sounds, o, and o, and the contrast between a and e. And we've looked at consonants in terms of voiceless and voiced pairs so far. We started with s and th and f and th, and we've also looked at t and d and t and d in those ed endings. Let's talk about some of the additional ways in which you can play with these sounds as you listen and repeat. To start with, let's think about mouth position. Now, I've encouraged you to think about your mouth position when introducing the sounds each week. But let's not forget that as well as doing this for individual sounds, it's great to do this on a word level and on a sentence level as well. All parts of your mouth are involved in making sounds, so try to focus on what each one of them is doing to make the sound in English. Things which can help you to recognize this include using a mirror or videoing yourself to see what your mouth is doing. Now, my preferred method is to video myself, but in a way in which I'm not constantly looking at myself on the screen, because I find that if I'm doing that in a mirror, I get distracted by looking at myself at the same time as I'm trying to focus on what my mouth is doing. But do whatever works for you and whatever technology you have with you. Really exaggerating your mouth position for each sound can help as well. So, for example, for the word hello, I would really focus on opening up that eh, smiling to get that really wide eh. And then the same with the O, really making sure that my chin is dropping to open up the O sound there as well. So hello. Of course, it doesn't sound exactly the same as the sound would sound in natural speech. But again, that exaggeration can help you to really focus on those different sounds and on the transitions between them in the word as well. I also find that really slowing down the sound, or again, the word or the sentence, can help as well. So again, hello would become hello. Of course, again, this changes the quality of the sound, and things like short vowels will no longer be short. But again, it's a fantastic way to focus on the shapes your mouth is making and how that changes as you move between the sounds. I also find that making the sound silently, or making the word or sentence silently, can help without vibrating your vocal cords at all, even if it should be a voiced sound. Obviously, I can't demonstrate that one here because you wouldn't hear anything over the podcast, but just make your mouth make the positions of the sounds without vibrating your vocal cords at all. And then experiment between doing it silently and then vibrating your vocal cords, turning the sound on, if you like, where they should be vibrating. And then finally, another tip which may help individually or in combination with any of the ones we've already spoken about is just, I find closing your eyes can really help you to focus on what is happening inside your mouth and not be distracted by other things. And then with each step, I really encourage you not only to think about what you are doing, but also what your mouth wants to do. Does it want to copy a similar but not identical sound from your first language or another language you speak? Does it want to substitute a different sound? Does it want to make the sound in a different way? This is really the key to any struggle you may be having with the sounds. And as you identify these points, if you play with the position your mouth wants to make and the one you're trying to build into your English language use, you can really unlock your awareness of this. In addition to what we've just said, we're looking at sounds within words and sentences. It can really help to break the word or sentence down into its component sounds. And we can do this in different ways too. We can do it forwards. So a word like hello becomes h, e, l, o. And we can do this individually, sound by sound, like I just did. Or we can build a chain. He, hell, hello. We can also do it backwards. Takes a little bit more thinking. Hello becomes o, l, e. And again, we can do this sound by sound or building a chain. O, lo, elo, hello. We can do it by only making one sound in a word or phrase. For example, if I was practicing the eh sound, I could read hello everybody as eh. Or if I wanted to take it a bit further, I could do the same, but perhaps only practicing the vowel sounds. So again, hello everybody would become e-o, e-i-o-e. That one really works your mouth position and your mouth muscles. And again, you can do it more slowly as you're practicing and build up to being able to do it at a quicker speed. We could also do this with the consonant sounds. So again, hello everybody would become hl, v, r, b, d. And again, I could try to do it quicker. Hl, v, b, d. These last ones are really fun and helpful where longer sentences are concerned as well. So I'll give you some examples when we revisit the tongue twisters in the forthcoming video bonus episodes and short podcast episodes, which will be coming out over the next few weeks. And finally, I'd really encourage you to play with different ways of saying the sound, whether it's in an individual sound within a word or within a sentence to help. So, for example, you can sing it, hello, shout it, hello, whisper it, hello, say it as fast as you can, hello, say it with surprise, hello, say it happily, sadly, angrily, and so on. Hello, hello, hello. All of these different experiments, play with the sounds in different ways and challenge your muscles in slightly different ways as well. So let's think about how these techniques may work with some of the common words we've looked at so far. I've only chosen 16 words today because we're going to speak about each one of them in some detail. And in many of them, we're going to look at how they practice more than one of the sounds that we've looked at so far, rather than just focusing on the sound I originally introduced them for in previous episodes. We'll think about the individual sounds again, and then we'll practice repeating the words. When we pause for the listen and repeat, I'd like you to try out some of those techniques that we just spoke about. It's your choice which ones you choose. Try to choose a variety. But today you will definitely need to pause the podcast to give you time to do this between each sound. And you may, again, also find that it's useful to slow the podcast down to 0.5 speed or speed it up if that helps you as well. So the first two words are a pair, but we'll talk about them individually. The first one is face. This one is just practicing that s sound. So think about some of those techniques we've just been talking about. Choose one or two to practice. Listen and repeat. Face. The second word is phase. This one practicing the z sound. So it's the voiceless and voiced contrast. Again, choose a couple of those techniques, listen and repeat. Phase. Fantastic. Word number 3 and 4 are again a pair, but there's a bit more going on this time. So word number 3 is emphasis. This one is practicing the the and the s. Again, choose some of those techniques, listen and repeat. Emphasis. And word number 4, emphasize. This time the and z. Again, choose some techniques, listen and repeat. Emphasize. Word number 5 is earth. This is reviewing the and the th sounds. Listen and repeat. Earth. Which techniques did you choose? I won't remind you anymore to choose a variety of techniques. I'll rely on you to remember. Word number 6 is third. Again, this is practicing the and sounds, but this time in a different order. Listen and repeat. Third. Word number 7 is those. This time practicing the th, o and th sounds. Listen and repeat. Those. Word number 8 is together. This time practicing the t, e, and the sounds. Listen and repeat. Together. Word number 9 is breakfast. This one is practicing the and s sounds. You'll see that I don't pronounce that final T, but if you do, then it also practices the t sound. Listen and repeat. Breakfast. Word number 10 is fantastic. This one practicing the s and t sounds. Make sure you're really opening your mouths up for that sound. Listen and repeat. Fantastic. Word number 11 is emergency. This one practicing the and s sounds. Listen and repeat. Emergency. Word number 12 is toes. This one practicing the t, o and z sounds. Listen and repeat. Toes. And this one works in a pair with number 13, doze. This time practicing the d, o and z sounds. Listen and repeat. Doze. Word number 14 is motivated. This one practicing the o and t sounds and the ed ending with the id pronunciation pattern. Listen and repeat. Motivated. Word number 15 is watched. This one practicing the o sound and the ed ending with the t pronunciation pattern. Watched. And finally, word number 16 is raised. This one practicing the z sound and the ed ending with the d pronunciation pattern. Listen and repeat. Raised. Well done. I hope you found it really useful to pause today and to practice various techniques between words, thinking about the individual sounds and how they work in the word as a whole. And I think it's really interesting to look back on those words that we've practiced in individual episodes, focusing on just one sound, and think about how many of the different sounds we've practiced occur in each one. And then obviously starting to think about several of those sounds together is more challenging than just focusing on one sound at a time. We are going to read those 16 words one more time. This time I'll separate them into groups of 4 and we'll read through them more quickly to challenge our muscles more, as we always do. And today will be even more of a challenge because we're working through different sounds rather than focusing on the same sound over and over again. Listen and repeat. Face, phase, emphasis, emphasize. Earth, third, those together. Breakfast, fantastic, emergency toes. Doze, motivated, watched, raised. So I'm not giving you any sentences or tongue twisters today. This episode is already too long. Instead, over the next few weeks, I'll be reviewing some of the tongue twisters we've looked at so far, mainly the ones from the video bonuses, and thinking about the individual sounds we've practiced in each one, and again, talking about how you can apply some of today's techniques to longer sentences. I'll be doing this both via some short podcast episodes, so there will still be a few episodes coming over the next few weeks, focusing on one tongue twister each week. And I'll be doing the same with some video bonuses too. If you haven't been following those video bonuses so far, do go and check them out. They're right there on my Patreon page. If you just scroll down on the main page, you'll find them. I've really loved making these podcasts so far, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to them. I'm writing and recording in my free time, and as a new podcaster, it takes quite a lot longer than you may imagine. So I'm going to take a few weeks off the longer podcasts to recharge my batteries, and I'll be back with more later in the spring. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. Please do drop me a message via email, via Patreon, or via my social media to tell me how you're getting on. Tell me what you're finding easy or difficult. And of course, if you have any sound requests for next season, I would love to hear them. And if you'd like to help support me, you can do that on Patreon too. So take these next few weeks to review what we've done so far, practice all those techniques from today, enjoy sound building, and I'll see you again soon.